Bonnie. Today I want to talk about the parts of a square. I don't have all my materials with me, so first I'm going to make a square out of a piece of construction paper. So in order to make a square, we're going to fold our paper until our sides are equal. Here they meet. This is actually quite a thick piece of paper, and I'm going to fold like this. So I've just folded over until my edges meet, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fold this part until the bottom edges meet, until they're equal. That will help me make a square to work with. So that's what I did at the end. And I'm going to trim my extra piece off at the bottom here, and that will leave me with a square. So let me do that. So now I have my square. So I want to talk about a square. We're familiar with that. It's a quadrilateral, meaning it has 4 sides, and each side is equal. It also has 4 right angles. Okay, we're going to talk about the parts of a square. So the first part we're going to talk about is the actual space enclosed by the 4 sides. Can you see that? So we've got our 4 sides. So the space in here, the part of the plane or the surface enclosed by the 4 sides, is our square, and this is the surface. Each of these edges is called a side. We have 4 corners here. Those points on each corner are called vertices. The singular is vertex. One is a vertex. A square has 4 vertices. We also have this part of the plane here. I'm going to mark that with my marker here so you can see what I'm talking about. So this part of the plane formed by the vertex or the point, and I'm going to make my little point here. So formed by the point, and these 2 sides forms an angle. And there are 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 angles on my square. When I put my square like this, or even like this, the side at the bottom on which the square is resting is called the base. You can think of the basement of your house. That's the part that the rest of the house is resting on, the bottom, the base. So if I turn my square, this becomes the base. Now, this one's the base. And finally, this one is the base. So we've got our surface, our vertices, our sides, our angles in the corners here, and our base. When we add up, if we were measuring our sides, we add this side, plus this side, plus this side, plus this side. When we add the measure of all the 4 sides together, the sum of those measures is called a perimeter. All the way around the sides, we measure, we add. That's the perimeter. We have a couple of other things in our square to look at. One is easy. It's hard for me to even keep it open, but the line that goes from one, you can probably see it on this side better. This line that goes from one corner or one vertex to the opposite one, do you see that line? That's called a diagonal. Diagonal. And then we have one other line, and I'm going to use this as a thing to guide me. Our other line goes from the bottom all the way to the opposite side, like that. It measures the altitude, or the height, the altitude. Now that line must be a right angle, and I can check that by putting in my square corner here from my paper. Make sure my line is perpendicular to the base. So we have our altitude, we have our diagonal, which you can see the crease, we have our angles, we have our base, we have the sides, and when we add up all the measures of the sides, we call it the perimeter. We have our vertices, 4 vertices, and we have our whole surface. So these are the parts of the square. Why don't you make your own?